Good news stories you may have missed, starting with one out of Virginia where Governor Spanberger signed a bill that expands renter protections. The bill now requires that landlords accept at least 2 forms of payment for both security deposit and rent. It also requires that landlords provide a receipt if a tenant is paying with cash or money order. You should note, without it being requested, they are just required baseline to now provide a receipt. The bill also bans landlords from charging tenants for maintenance or repairs. Obviously, there is an exception, or maybe not obviously, there is an exception for if the tenant causes the damage. Then next door in Maryland, Governor Wes Moore signed the VAX Act. This new law does a number of things, but namely it allows the Department of Health Secretary for the state of Maryland to authorize, based on science and clinical guidance, recommendations on vaccines, preventative care, and screenings. It also takes a page out of Gwyneth Paltrow's book and decouples vaccine recommendations for the state of Maryland from the federal government's. Then, because yes, there is more in this law, like I said, it has a lot of segments and components to it. It also codifies the ability for pharmacists to administer vaccines. It also requires that insurance providers in the state cover vaccines. Now, sticking with this healthcare bucket that we're in Kentucky, Governor Beshear signed a bill that now requires insurers to cover both the treatment and the diagnosis of eating disorders. In addition, it bans insurance companies from denying coverage based only on BMI. And then in Pennsylvania, Governor Shapiro signed an executive order that creates a governor's advisory commission on people with disabilities. A 30-person committee, which will be comprised of volunteer appointees by the governor, will be focused on making recommendations with regards to policy that are needed, areas for improvement, the whole sort of rigmarole. Details on all of those good news stories you may have missed can be found in the GovHub newsletter, which I send out every Tuesday with good news right at the top. And as one can guess, you can find that at the link in bio.